Hello, everyone. My name is Anjali, and for this video summary, I'll be focusing on leadership and grading reform. To be honest, coming into this reading, I was not fully informed on the topic, but I'm glad I've gained some insight. So without further ado, let's get into it. In Chapter 7, the focus is on the crucial role of school leaders in grading reform. The chapter underscores the significant impact that principals and other school leaders can have on grading practices, despite the deep-rooted traditions and complexities associated with the process. It highlights the challenges leaders face, such as unfavorable learning climates, lack of training, and the difficulty in communicating effectively. However, it also emphasizes that school leaders are uniquely positioned to drive change and improve student achievement through better grading practices. The chapter discusses the legal responsibilities of school leaders concerning grading and the importance of developing fair, accurate, and legally defensible grading policies. It also addresses how accountability for grading is embedded in educational leadership standards and teacher evaluation models. Despite these responsibilities, many leaders are either unaware of the issues in current grading practices or hesitant to confront them due to longstanding traditions. The aim of the chapter is to encourage school leaders to take proactive and courageous stances in grading reform, providing them with the knowledge and understanding necessary to make informed and effective changes that can enhance educational outcomes for students. To begin, let's start by defining and identifying what a school leader is, according to Laura J. Link, the author of this chapter. A school leader is an individual who holds a key administrative or managerial position within a school or school district. These individuals are responsible for setting educational standards, overseeing school operations, and ensuring the effective delivery of educational programs. In this reading particularly, we focus mainly on the role of the principal and the relationship with the school district administrations and school staff. There were several important points raised in the key ideas regarding grade reform. These are some ideas that I found to be critical and starting point to understanding where we are now and what is next. Challenges in grading reform. Grading systems have long been considered a cornerstone for educational assessment, and any attempt to modify them often is met with resistance from educators, parents, and even students who are accustomed to the traditional methods. This historical resistance is rooted in the belief that existing grading practices are effective and fair, despite evidence suggesting otherwise. The challenges associated with grading reform are not limited to historical resistance. School leaders are often faced with other difficulties, such as unfavorable learning climates, characterized by a lack of trust and collaboration among educators, which can ultimately hinder the adoption of new grading practices. Additionally, many school leaders lack adequate access to professional development and training that would equip them with the knowledge and skills needed to implement effective grading reforms. 2, the critical role of school leaders. Despite the numerous challenges associated with grading reform, school leaders hold a unique and powerful position that allows them to significantly drive school change, impact teachers' classroom practices, and enhance student achievement. Their roles enable them to set the vision and tone for educational initiatives, including grading reforms. These leaders can provide the necessary support and resources to teachers, fostering an environment that encourages innovative teaching and fair assessment practices. By actively promoting a culture of continuous improvement and professional development, school leaders can help educators transition to a more effective grading system that better reflects student learning and growth. School leaders, including superintendents and principals, bear significant legal responsibilities concerning students' grades. They are not only accountable for ensuring that grading practices are fair, accurate, and consistent, but also for defending these practices when challenged. According to McElliott and Brookhart, while teachers assign grades, school leaders are the ones who ultimately are legally accountable for when those grades are disputed. This legal accountability underscores the necessity for school leaders to be well versed in grading policies and practices, ensuring they are equitable and legally defensible. In many instances, legal challenges arise from students and parents who feel that grades have been unfairly assigned. Courts generally side with schools that have clear and consistently applied grading policies. Therefore, it is crucial for school leaders to devise and enforce robust grading policies that minimize subjectivity and potential bias, thus protecting the school from legal disputes and upholding the integrity of the academic assessment process. 3. Grading policies. Developing fair, accurate, and legally defensible grading policies is a critical responsibility for school leaders. These policies need to be clear guidelines that teachers can consistently apply to assess student performance. Chartier, McElliott, and Brookhart emphasize that robust grading policies can help avoid litigation and disputes by ensuring that grades are based on transparent and objective criteria. Furthermore, these policies should be regularly reviewed and updated to reflect current educational standards and legal requirements. By involving teachers, parents, and students in the development process, school leaders can ensure that policies are comprehensive and widely supported, promoting a culture of fairness and accountability. This proactive approach not only protects the school from legal challenges, but also enhances the credibility and reliability of the grading system. 4. Training and awareness. Addressing grading reform requires school leaders to be bold and courageous. As the process often involves challenging long-standing traditions and facing potential resistance from educators and stakeholders, effective school leaders must recognize that accurate and fair grading practices are crucial for improving student achievement and fostering a culture of equity and transparency. They need to develop a clear vision for grading practices, communicate this vision effectively, and provide the necessary support and resources for teachers to implement changes. By modeling a commitment to fairness and accuracy in grading, school leaders can inspire their staff to embrace new practices and work collaboratively towards a more equitable assessment system. This leadership is essential not only for improving student outcomes, but for also building trust and credibility within the entire school community. The learnings from this chapter were genuinely insightful and provided me with a new lens on grading reform and how school leadership plays a vital role in grading practices. Here are some great guiding questions that I would like to raise to the class. How can school leaders foster a culture of continuous improvement and reflection on grading practices among teachers and staff? What are some examples of effective grading policies that have been successfully implemented in other schools or even other institutions? And what can we learn from these examples? In what ways can and do we involve other stakeholders of the school community within grading practices? What stage, if at all, would they be involved in? Students, parents, and educators. And 4, what role does professional development play in equipping school leaders and teachers to implement and sustain grading reform? What we know is that education is continually evolving, and this chapter highlights the imperative need for firm leadership in addressing grading reform. By acknowledging the need for improved training and overcoming deeply rooted traditions, school leaders can foster a more equitable and effective grading system. The lessons learned here, although based in the United States, have significant implications for Ontario's educational landscape. Ontario can implement these insights by focusing on developing comprehensive grading policies, providing robust training for educators, and creating a positive learning climate that supports ongoing reform. By doing so, Ontario can ensure that its grading practices are consistent, fair, and conducive for student success, thereby advancing its educational system to better meet the needs for all learners. We know that grading reform cannot be done alone, and that'll take time, but it's important to start somewhere. Initiating the process with small incremental changes that collectively pave the way for more significant transformation, engaging in open dialogues about current grading practices, identifying their shortcomings, and exploring evidence-based alternatives are crucial first steps. By prioritizing transparency, fairness, and accuracy in gradings as well, and by embracing just a collaborative approach, we can gradually create an educational environment where assessments truly reflect student learning and growth. So overall, I want to say thank you all for listening, and I'm excited to engage in everyone else's discussion for this week.